Hi everyone, this is Angela. I hope you guys are all doing well. I know it's been a while since I uploaded a podcast episode. Life has just been so crazy, but I feel like when is it not for me? I mean, this is my life as a full-time fighter who trains full-time, competes, has like endless fight camps, even though I don't know when I'm going to be fighting next, along with, personal life responsibilities that everyone has, and just trying to deal with living abroad, being a content creator, etc., etc. But I hope you guys are all doing well. For today's episode, I would like to cover the subject of investments. Now, whether you're just starting out or if you're a seasoned fighter, Muay Thai offers challenges throughout the journey. So regardless of how new you may be to Muay Thai or how experienced you already are, there's always something that you can and should invest in to make the most out of the current stage. And the investments aren't always about money. Yes, a lot of times that they are, sometimes they are, but sometimes the more important investments are time, energy, or even just like putting more effort into your mindset. So in this episode, I'm going to categorize stages that I see in a Muay Thai fighter's path. Now, wherever stage you end up determining yourself to be, I want you to know that there is no wrong or right answer, and there is absolutely nothing to be ashamed about, no matter where you land. Some people stay at one stage before moving on to the next one. Some people stay at one stage forever, and this is where they're content at. Everyone's journey is different, so let's just focus on your path, your journey, so we are not making a lot of costly mistakes and accidentally investing in things that perhaps are not appropriate for the current stage. So I will be talking about the different stages of a Muay Thai lover's path and the key investments to focus on each stage. Now, I've categorized the stages of the Muay Thai journey into 4 different ones. The first one I like to call the curious beginner. If you're a curious beginner, you've just started out, you've taken 1, 2 classes, you find it fun, you're very excited to keep coming to class, but you're not sure on where you see yourself in the next 3 to 6 months with the sport. It could be something that you end up doing for a couple months and then lose interest in before doing something else, or it could end up consuming your life like it did for me, and maybe you end up wanting to compete or literally anything in between. You're just not sure yet. The second stage would be the committed novice. The committed novice has settled into a groove. If you're a committed novice, the instructors know who you are. They know what you need to work on. Perhaps you've just started sparring and you've realized that you want to keep improving no matter what the bigger goal is. And this level reflects a growing commitment to the sport and a desire to improve. The third level is what I call the aspiring competitor. So you either have just started competing or you're currently considering / preparing for competition. At this level, you know that you have the motivation to compete. You know what's involved. So you understand what's expected of you should you get a fight confirmed. And you're ready to put in the work that's required. And the last stage, I would say, is called the experienced competitor. You're at this stage if you've competed a bunch already and the grind is part of your daily routine. You have what it takes to work hard, you consistently put in the work, and you're constantly looking for ways to challenge yourself and get better so you can keep knocking down one goal after another in the fight game. Notice how when I listed out these 4 levels that I haven't said something like, oh, you've been training for a month, you've been training for 6 months, you've been training for a year. This is because it can look so different for so many different people. I know people who have been quote unquote training for 10 years, but those 10 years look like coming for a week, disappearing for a month, rinse and repeat. I know you probably know some people who have done this, but I also know some people who say, oh, I've only been training for 3 months. But those 3 months look like consistently coming 5 days a week, every week for those 3 months. So yeah, I rarely like to use like how many years or how long have you been training as a factor in determining what level someone is or what stage they're at. And also, I don't want to make assumptions because some people, they end up doing it for fun and they find out that they don't ever want to compete and this is fine for them and they love showing up, absolutely nothing wrong with that. So I try not to assume. If you have an idea of what stage you're at, great. If you don't worry. I'm going to start talking about more details on each of these stages and what investments that I recommend you should make at this stage. Okay, the curious beginner. What an exciting stage. You don't know where you're going to go with this, but you know that you love it and you want to keep getting better. Now, the only thing I would really recommend investing in, other than a very obvious like monetary investment of monthly gym fees, is I would prioritize the investment of time. I know a lot of forums and people on the internet tell you to buy like, oh, you need to buy this glove or these shin guards, these shorts, things like that. But none of those really matter if you don't put in the time to be consistent. Also, when you make it a priority to be consistent, to show up as much as you can, given your schedule, your lifestyle, your commitment outside of the gym, you learn a lot about yourself in the process. And you learn if this is something you perhaps want to take more seriously via competition or investing more time in, or if you learn that this is something that you love and have lots of fun doing, but have no interest in competing or making it something other than just a simple workout. You can also learn if this is something you want to consider as a serious hobby, where you may train as a fighter and maybe even take the occasional fight, but you don't really wish to pursue it with 5-6 fight camps a year and then eventually turning pro into a career. Whatever it is you end up learning about yourself, your desires, preferences, potential goals. Again, there's no wrong answer, but you will get a lot of answers to these questions from the investment of time. And those answers can put you on the path of what to invest in and what not to invest in. Now, if you're a curious beginner, I think the most common mistake I see during this stage is over-investing in fancy gear and under-investing in time. And hopefully you understand by now with what I have just said about the curious beginner, why this could be a very grave and expensive error. Now, because we are talking about gear, let's talk about gear. If you're just starting out and you don't really know how seriously you want to take this, you honestly only really need workout apparel. Maybe a pair of hand wraps. I do recommend a pair of hand wraps, but they're not like 100% necessary. And a pair of gloves. When it comes to your workout apparel, make sure you're buying clothes that are suitable for high impact activities that allow a large range of motion, because with Muay Thai, you are going to be like on one leg a lot. You're going to be twisting your body a lot. At some point, if you decide to go into sparring and stuff, there is going to be actual like contact on you and your clothes. So just investing in like high quality workout apparel, it can set you up for even just Muay Thai long time. But if you end up not wanting to do Muay Thai anymore, you can still use those clothes for literally anything else, which is great. I love me a universal investment that's just not functional for one thing. So basketball shorts are not really the best choice because they tend to be very loose, long. The length of most basketball shorts I see can impinge on your range of motion. They can get stuck sometimes when you're trying to do things that require a lot of movement. And also because of how kind of open around the legs they are, they might not be appropriate for when you are lifting up your leg. But if you only have basketball shorts, it's okay. Just get a pair of compression underwear or compression shorts to wear right under the basketball shorts, and they should work just fine. I personally sometimes train in just running shorts, the ones that have the built-in extra layer. And I know some men and women that also enjoy training with those. They also make it a lot easier when I have to multitask throughout the day. Like if I have to run to lift weights or run before training, but I don't necessarily want to wear Muay Thai shorts when I go to regular gyms or other places, stuff like that. So they are more multifunctional. Now, when it comes to sports bras, the ones that are made for yoga really aren't going to do it. Yoga is generally very low impact. So I find that they are very cute and fashionable, but they also tend to be very flimsy and they don't give the appropriate amount of coverage for the activity at hand. So if you wear sports bras, I would look for ones that offer more coverage and support. High impact ones for running are great. And when it comes to hand wraps and gloves, it really just boils down to your budget. Literally anything can do, even like a secondhand pair of hand wraps and gloves. The only exception to this recommendation is if you have certain types of joint conditions, you're prone to wrist pain, that can really affect your hands, and you are going to be using your hands quite a lot during training Muay Thai, whether it's actually hitting stuff or just holding things like holding pads, doing some body weight exercises. In those cases, I would choose to invest in a higher quality gloves that offers a little bit more wrist support. And I would also take the time to learn how to wrap your hands properly for training. This really makes a difference, especially if you are concerned about preventing injury to your hands. I don't really recommend foregoing wraps altogether. I know in some instances, including myself, when I was just starting out for like the first few weeks, I didn't wear wraps because I was like, oh, let me just slide my hand to a glove. I don't have time to learn how to hand wrap. But given the fact that beginners don't always have the best technique or control over their power, that combination can be really bad for the small bones that make up your hands. So just as a preventative measure, hand wraps don't generally cost that much. Invest in a pair of hand wraps. Watch some YouTube tutorials or ask someone at the gym to teach you how to wrap your hands properly. Now, Muay Thai shorts. I love Muay Thai shorts. I have like a million pairs. I think they're awesome and super comfortable for training. And obviously they're made for the purpose of Muay Thai training, but maybe a tiny bit of a hot take, but I don't think that they're really necessary per se, especially at the level where you're just starting out and not sure if you want to invest in all this stuff. And also, more of a hot take, I don't really think they're necessary at any level. The athletic pieces that I mentioned above, like the running shorts, will do just fine. Ironically, I wore Muay Thai shorts way more before than in the present day. I still wear them and I still wear them a lot, but I'm finding myself wearing more like compression shorts, running shorts, bike shorts to train in than I was before. Of course, some gyms will require you to wear Muay Thai shorts. I've yet to meet a gym that requires you to wear like their brand of Muay Thai shorts specifically. Usually the gyms that require you to wear Muay Thai shorts, it's more to avoid these awkward conversations of like, hey, you're not wearing the right undergarments for those kind of shorts, etc. But just know that if you have athletic pants that give you the proper range and coverage, Muay Thai shorts are not essential. They are definitely nice to have. Great. Now on to the second stage, the committed novice. So again, the committed novice is someone who's kind of settled into a groove with the consistency of training. If you're at this stage, the instructors know who you are. They know your strengths and your weaknesses. Maybe you've just started sparring or are considering starting to sparring. No matter what, you know that you want to keep continuing the sport. You want to keep improving, no matter whatever the next bigger goal is or is not. So it's during this stage that I would recommend that you start upgrading your gear. Start investing in high quality gear that will last a long time in addition to protecting you. Yes, this includes high quality gloves, shin guards, maybe some shorts. I'm assuming that you are on your way to sparring or already have started sparring. I'd also recommend you get a custom mouthpiece at this stage. I have one made by a dental hygienist. Actually, I have a couple made by the same dental hygienist that from like before I started my first amateur fight back in 2013. So it's been over 10 years. When I wear these custom mouthpieces, I don't have trouble breathing. I don't have trouble talking. They fit really well. They haven't become loose. They're just as good as they were from the first day. And it's been over a decade. Now, I know that these have a higher price point than the quote unquote boil and bite mouthpieces that are widely available. Now, if you don't know what the boil and bite ones are, they're the ones that are sold in some packaging. You dunk it in some hot water, boiling hot water, and then you put it in your mouth and then you bite down on it for a certain amount of time and then it will kind of mold to your teeth. But because these are not necessarily custom made to your teeth, your mouth, they become loose over a short amount of time and they generally don't really last. The ones that I've seen are also really bulky. They make it really difficult to breathe when you have it in. And I mean, like, Muay Thai training is already difficult and hard to breathe sometimes as it is. I don't think we need something else that makes it even more difficult to breathe. And once the grip loosens on your teeth, they don't really protect you all that well. I don't know how much a boil and bite runs for these days compared to a custom mouthpiece these days. But like I said, I had a couple made over a decade ago and they're still just as good. I don't have to worry about it. They'll probably be just as good until I can't spar anymore decades down the line, given that I don't lose them. But yeah, I wear them in sparring. I wear them in my fights. I have no issues with them and I really could not recommend it more. So if you have the money to invest, I definitely recommend investing in a custom mouthpiece. Other than upgrading your gear and getting a custom mouthpiece, people at the committed novice stage should also start doing research on rest and recovery. This is always important no matter where you're at, and it looks different as you go through the stages of your Muay Thai journey. But I believe it's really during this stage that new injuries tend to pop up because it's during this stage that you start sparring, you're training a lot more than you used to. Maybe you've even started running. So these injuries can pop up due to overuse, improper nutrition, inadequate mobility. Now, when it comes to just being more mindful on rest and recovery, it can be as simple as noticing how you feel throughout the week and taking note of your fatigue, your motivation levels, your levels of muscle soreness, and then making your adjustments accordingly. If you're not already, it would be great to allocate like 1 or 2 full rest days just to allow yourself to properly recover and adapt to the training load. And because this is the stage where you're always learning, always improving, and have so many questions and so many things to look forward to, this is the best stage to start journaling. Journaling is a great way to keep track of the techniques you are shown. And it's an awesome way to look back periodically and see how far you've come. I know that sometimes when I feel like I'm stuck and feel like I haven't gotten much better, I will open my Muay Thai journal just to kind of look for inspiration, look for techniques that I've been taught but kind of forgot about, or just look at the achievements that I've made even just in the last few months. You can make your own with a simple journal if you already have an idea of how to structure it. I've made one that you could download for free on my website, angelamuaythai.com. I made a printable version if you like pen and paper, and there's also a digital version if you prefer just having things more at hand with your phone, tablet, etc. It's a month-long journal, and it's a perfect tool to keep track of your training progress, cultivate healthier habits, and set achievable goals. Again, that's angelamuaythai.com. I will link the URL in the show notes. Now, on to the next level, the aspiring competitor. Now, at this stage, you are perhaps considering or are already preparing to fight. If you've already fought, you are not very experienced yet, and you're still very much trying to find your style and your footing in the competitive landscape, there's still a lot you can learn. You're not really at the stage yet where you are kind of coherently thinking during your fights and putting fight plans together. For people at this level, I recommend investing in a very good pair of running shoes. Why? Because running has long been an integral part of Muay Thai training. And no, you don't really need to be running like half marathons every day for conditioning like some people are. But for people who are aspiring competitors, there will be a lot of busy work required of you. And this busy work is, sure, part of fight camp training, but it's also to show yourself, as well as your coaches, your levels of discipline and your commitment to fighting. This will also show you things like, do you quit when you're tired? Do you push through the fatigue? And it'll also show you how much heart you have. Running will be part of that grind, part of that busy work, because it's monotonous. It's boring for a lot of people. Most people hate it. And more importantly, it's going to teach you one of the most fundamental qualities of being a fighter, that fighting is just as much pushing through the mental barriers as it is pushing through the physical ones. So because you are on the path to competition or have just started out competition, you will probably be running more than you used to. Running shoes will help lower the risk of injuries associated with running because they are made specifically for running. So if you have any type of other kind of athletic shoes, they may be okay if you're really not doing that much road work. But once you start regularly doing road work, having a pair of running shoes will lower injuries such as shin splints, plantar fasciitis, maybe even stress fractures. Getting better support for the bottom of your feet also means better support for your joints. And the last thing you want when you're trying to fight is get knee, hip, or back pain because you're not wearing the appropriate footwear. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there in terms of running shoes. And if you Google running shoes, there's going to be like a million options. Go to your running shoe store. These are pretty common in big cities and they'll get you started. The staff can analyze your feet to see what kind of shoe you have based on, the formation of your feet. Try to see if they have something in your budget. Try on different shoes and see what feels good to you within a range of your budget. And if it costs too much new to buy new at the store, take a note of whatever shoe that is, the model, the brand, and look online for like a secondhand new/near new pair. Usually people will sell them online for a much lower price. Now, running shoes can be expensive, but they last a long time and they can save you potential trips to the doctors and physical therapists when you get injuries related to not wearing the right shoes. If you're watching this on video, sorry about the change in background and scenery a bit. Someone came in and then I don't want them to be walking in and out through the background. At the aspiring competitor stage, a knowledge investment would be educating yourself on nutrition. There's a lot of bad advice that's normalized in the fight community regarding food intake and making weight for fights. Even if someone from the gym means well, which has been my experience as well as the experience of many other fighters I know, if they're not qualified or educated to give you advice about nutrition, don't take it. A common mistake for people at this stage is that they underfuel and restrict even further to attempt to lose weight for competition. Now, there's a few ways that you can make this knowledge investment. You could take a crash course online. You can watch videos on the basics of nutrition or listen to podcasts or audiobooks on this topic. If you find sources that specialize in combat sports and fighters, even better, because they would have an understanding and the information would be more tailored to your situation. Versus like someone who is generally very sedentary and has different nutritional needs than someone who is preparing for a fight. If you have no knowledge of nutrition, a good place to start is YouTube. A couple channels that you might want to look up are Level Up RD and UCLA Health. They have some great videos on nutrition basics. If you have the basics of nutrition down, but you want more information on the application, type into Google best nutrition podcast for athletes and see what comes up, what resonates with you, with what you need the most right now. For this type of like deep knowledge learning, I don't really recommend social media for a few reasons. The main one being is that the information given in a single short form post, or perhaps even through like a series of posts, is not all encompassing. And usually the content creator is on social media and they're probably trying to get you to buy a course or hire them for their services. Now, if you don't wish to do this type of research or don't have the bandwidth or the time to do so, but you do have the financial means to hire help, then by all means, hire help. There are a number of combat sports nutritionists that offer services to fighters of all levels. I cannot make recommendations because everyone has different experiences with different people, but I do have some accounts that you may want to check out as a starting point. The Fight Dietitian, Elite Fight Nutrition, Female Fight Nutritionist. To my knowledge, James Nicol did a collaborative course with Don Heatrick that's available on heatrick.com. It's a self-paced course that covers nutrition for fighters. I haven't taken the course and I haven't looked at the material, so I can't speak on anything about it, but I am just letting you know that it does exist. Something that doesn't cost as much as hiring a nutritionist would be investing in supplements. And assuming you are training nearly every day, you might need extra support via vitamins, minerals, etc. that you didn't need before. While I legally cannot tell you what you should take, I will tell you what I take. And there's a lot of overlap with what I take with what many fighters I know take. I take omega-3s, I take magnesium, I take zinc, I have electrolyte supplements, I take iron supplements because my iron tests low for time to time, and I take creatine. Now, before you go out and buy all of these things, run it over with a health professional to make sure it won't interact with any conditions or medications that you're currently taking. And that you're not overdoing it on something that you already have plenty of in your system. Like, I actually know a few people who have high iron levels, so they can't donate blood, and they definitely wouldn't need iron supplement in that case. For the aspiring competitor, a time investment would be to start creating and establishing a social media presence. This doesn't mean you have to post every day. It doesn't mean you have to post things that are very typical for social media, things that are not on brand for who you are. I'm not telling you to try to become an influencer. What I am trying to say is that there's no escaping the fact that in today's digital age, social media has become a powerful tool for people to connect with, engage with, and promote their passions on. So Muay Thai fighters could also harness the potential of social media to gain more attention, build a fan base, and by doing so, you can potentially get sponsors down the line to further your career. And I hate to say it, but it's also become a factor to some extent in whether or not you can get matched up for fights when you get to a certain level. Social media presence adds to the marketability of a fighter. If it means that you can spend 1 hour a week or whatever free time you have that you can consistently do to work on your social media, then I really recommend you do it, because you don't really lose anything from it. There's nothing that you need to put in financially, just some time and patience. So having a social media presence starts with having a public account. So if you don't already have one of those, you can either make your current accounts public or create a brand new one that's specifically for your Muay Thai career and consistently posting on it. Consistency will look different for everyone, similar to how I mentioned it before about training. Consistency on social media, it can be once a week, twice a week, every day. It just depends on what you're comfortable with, what you have the bandwidth to have. But whatever number you pick every week, just try to stick with it. If you're not used to filming, editing videos, writing captions, all of this will feel so tedious in the beginning, feel like so much work. But just know, as someone who's like self-learned everything through social media, through experience, it gets better. It gets easier with practice. And the more consistently you post, you will eventually find your groove in what you enjoy sharing. You'll find what's important to you and what's not. Okay. Experienced competitors. The grind is part of your daily routine. You're at a stage where you're hopefully getting some recognition for your experience and you're getting fights. No matter if you're still an amateur or any stage of being a professional fighter or even like a veteran here, there are investments at this level that would benefit all fighters, but particularly for if you're at this level of experienced competitor. At this level, I'm assuming that you are training at a place that you feel like you are learning and progressing over time with a coach that believes in your potential and your continued success. I will focus on recommendations that will help you with your performance, and also talk about a common issue that many high-level fighters have, which is lack of money. If you haven't already, this is the time to get your nutrition down. Of course, for the sake of being able to make weight, because when you're at this level, there's really no excuse to be missing weight anymore. At the same time, this doesn't mean you're constantly starving yourself, because you shouldn't be feeling so deprived during your fight camps that you end up in these binging cycles after your fights, which are also something that you want to remedy if this is something that you find yourself experiencing. But also get your nutrition down for the sake of your performance. Like your performance here matters more than before because now you're competing at a high level or on your way to competing at the highest levels. And by performance, I mean training performance and also fighting performance. A combat sports nutritionist or combat sports dietitian would also be very knowledgeable about weight cut week, and it can make this week that's usually very miserable be so much easier. They usually give you like weight cut protocols, manage your macros a little bit differently, and teach you how to cut weight without just like killing yourself in a sauna or with like running in a sauna suit. So if you're at this level, you have the means to hire someone. If you don't, look for someone who will sponsor you. There are a number of combat sports nutritionists and registered dietitians that you may reach out to and propose their sponsorship. Let them know what they will get in return for the sponsorship. I've said it in my previous podcast and also just through my social media posts. A sponsorship is not charity. A sponsorship is a business relationship. So you need to make sure that you are also fulfilling your end of this business relationship. Now, if you cannot do either for any reason, you can use the knowledge that you already have on yourself, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then do some research and spend a good amount of time just kind of filling the blanks in, so to say. But I do have to say, as someone that previously considered myself to be super knowledgeable about sports nutrition, all that stuff, just having a health professional on your side that can give you insights into what you're doing right, what you need to improve on, also recommendations on what supplements to actually invest in for you, it changes a lot of things. Similarly to how having a nutritionist and dietitian at your side can change the game for you, so can implementing a proper S&C program that's specifically designed for combat sports. Now, you've put in all the hard grunt work. What was useful for you at the beginning of your fight career, like the long runs and doing like 200 body squats and things like that, they might not be as useful to you at this stage of your career anymore. By now, you should have an idea of what athletic capabilities you need to work on. Are you not explosive enough? Are you slow in your fights? Is your reaction not great? Do you feel like you're not as strong as other people that you fight in your weight class? A strength and conditioning program can really change things for you and answer all those questions. Traditional Muay Thai training doesn't usually cover all athletic qualities that are needed to fight at a high level. Similarly to how you would approach getting a nutritionist, you can buy programming online or try to get sponsored by a S&C coach. If you're new to weightlifting and need help learning new exercises, and make sure you have proper form to prevent injury, an in-person coach would probably be the best move for you. If you are familiar with basic lifts and just need to be led in a more structured manner of your conditioning because you're not really sure how to go about it, an online coach or online program is usually way cheaper than hiring a in-person coach for private lifting sessions. At this stage, you should also be taking a huge interest in your mental health. Neglecting your mental well-being can lead to, yes, decreased performance, increased injuries, burnout. Muay Thai aside, working on your mental health has so many benefits and it has such a profound impact on your overall quality of your life. And also with how you connect with yourself, when you think about yourself and how you connect with others. At this level of your Muay Thai journey, you've probably realized that the very best parts of you, as well as the very worst parts of you, can come out during training, during your fights, during times when you're under extreme pressure. Are you quick to anger when someone hits you clean during sparring? Are you putting others down so you could feel better about your own achievements and progress? Have you been called uncoachable by many people? Do you know who you are outside of being a fighter? Are you fighting because you want to or because you feel inadequate in some way and wish to prove something to people? Now, some of these are pretty loaded questions and may even trigger some uncomfortable feelings to some of you listening right now. Just know that all of these can be addressed with a mental health professional. Speaking from personal experience, going to therapy was the best decision I ever made for myself. I was able to get more tools on how to handle difficult situations that had previously just acted like never bothered me, or I would, just shove down like difficult feelings and never ever deal with it. But I got tools on how to unpack that and also unpack like my undealt with trauma. It's helped me with my complex relationship with my body, eating, especially since I've previously had eating disorders from like my being a teenager all the way into my 20s, and how all of that like intersects and weaves into me being a fighter. So I highly recommend working on your mental health for everyone. Talk therapy personally has worked really well for me. I know it doesn't work well for everyone, but just know that there are options other than talk therapy. And additional personal opinion, working on your mental health can help a lot of fighters who struggle to find fulfillment outside of being a fighter. We've seen the handful of people who are way past their prime try to retire, but they're unable to find their identity outside of the ring. And these fighters, usually when they try to keep fighting, these fights rarely end up well for them. And this just illustrates a bigger and sadder story at hand. No judgment, but I do really believe that fighters who work on their mental health, work on themselves, are able to kind of mitigate these issues a little bit better. This brings me to my next point. This is also a great time to think about your life after fighting. Of course, you should enjoy the ride while you're there, but this ride does not last forever, and it's good to have some systems in place. I've said time and time again that fighters should always have a plan B. You never know what may happen. If you get some long-term injury or something happens where you suddenly have to stop fighting. After all, training and fighting are so dependent on the wellness of your body, right? Having a plan B can help minimize the struggles that come along with transitioning to life after fighting, whether it's something that's planned or not. If you're an experienced competitor, hopefully by now you already have some sort of social media presence. Doesn't really, and I don't really mean like having like a large audience, but you have spent time trying to post more consistently. If you don't know what to post, you should ask your followers what they want to see. And that can give you a lot of ideas on types of content to make. And also, side note, if you are at this stage or actually any stage of your Muay Thai journey and you want to kind of get ideas for content, I do have like a free email list going where I'm sending out like ideas for potential content on social media. You can sign up for the email list on my website. If you sign up, you'll automatically start getting emails. Just get some inspiration if you're really stuck in that respect. And I've already said it, but you can really leverage your social media to get sponsorships. Now, sponsorships can come in the form of product, services, or even just straight up money. Whatever the sponsorship form comes in, it means less money needs to come out of your own pocket for things like gear, sports massages, supplements. We know that fighting, even professionally, doesn't even really begin to cover the bills. So consistent professional relationships really help to take the financial pressure off as you are trying to, train as much as you can, fight as much as you can. I won't get too much into this, but many sponsorships that offer products also offer something called affiliate sales. And this is basically a way for you to get some commission off of the purchases that are made on their website. And it's usually done when the person buying the product puts in a special code that is probably your name or something at the checkout page. So if it is something that you genuinely like to use, ask the company or brand if they're open to sponsorships, or at the very least affiliate sales. Now, when you have sponsors, always show things to them. You can show things to them through your social media posts by tagging them, or just straight up like, hey, thank you to my sponsors, etc., etc. If a fight promotion allows it, you might even consider putting their business logo on a banner that displays all of your sponsors. And if you're allowed to wear your own shorts to fight in, if you have just one or two high-level sponsors, you can even put their logo on your fight shorts and it will show them thanks and help their business grow. And some of these brands might even give you some extra money for you to do this. Now, leveraging your experience as a fighter can help you alleviate these financial burdens that come with this journey even more. This can be done with seminars, teaching private training sessions. You can also sell product like shirts or Muay Thai shorts. And these products should reflect you as a fighter and are kind of designed, customized by you. And these products should also be things that your fans will happily purchase because one, they want to support you, and two, they want to wear regularly. Some fighters have also had some success putting up like training videos online that could be accessed through a monthly membership. This takes a lot of time to film, a lot of time to edit, a lot of time to kind of plan through like an online course. It also requires you to have some knowledge of online marketing to make this successful. So I actually would not recommend this putting yourself into an online course kind of format until maybe you are like super accomplished as a fighter and you have a lot of time on your hands, perhaps towards the end of your fight career. A financial investment that you can make at this stage, as if you don't already make a lot of financial investments, periodic trips to Thailand. These can help you with your fight career and knowledge development. It also really helps to work with high-level people, high-level fighters that you might not have as training partners at your home gym. I know this is difficult to do when most fighters are already financially strapped. So this is definitely a time, knowledge, and financial investment all in one. For most people I know in the Muay Thai industry, they don't have fight managers that are specifically hired as fight managers, if that makes sense. Usually it's the coach or who's ever responsible for their training that's helping fighters to get fights, manage their fights. And I don't even know some fighters that manage themselves. Plus, for most Muay Thai promotions, most of the purses are not large enough for most managers and agents to really consider managing Muay Thai fighters to be profitable and worth their time and their labor. However, if you are at the level of like, let's say like one championship, or if you wish to transition into like a higher paying combat sport like kickboxing or MMA, getting an agent may help you get better fight opportunities, and they can help you negotiate for better pay too. Okay, thank you for staying with me. To recap, we have discussed the importance of investing yourself at every stage of your Muay Thai journey. To hear my recommendations for various things to invest in depending on the stage you're at. For curious beginners, invest in time. You also need comfortable workout apparel, hand wraps, and a decent pair of gloves. You don't need to buy a ton of expensive equipment at this point just yet. The committed novice should invest in high quality gear. So durable gloves, shin guards, and a custom mouthpiece. These will protect you as your skills are developing. At this stage, you should also start journaling and setting rest recovery protocols into your schedule. Aspiring competitors should invest in a pair of running shoes. If you're at this stage, you should also dedicate yourself on proper nutrition for athletes and start building your social media presence. If you're an experienced competitor, fine-tune your nutrition. Prioritize your mental health if you're not already. Leverage your experience and social media to get you sponsorships and other ways to alleviate the financial hardships that come with this fight life. And plan for the future. No matter what stage you are in Muay Thai, continuous learning and growth are always going to be part of it. What are your thoughts on the investments that I discussed in this episode? Are there any other areas that you believe are crucial for Muay Thai fighters? Let me know. Share your thoughts in the comments if you're listening on Spotify, or shoot me a message on IG or email. If you have an idea for a future episode, feel free to contact me as well. I'll see you guys in the next episode.